The moment most people decide they want to lose weight, they usually think the answer has to be extreme. Endless hours in the gym, strict meal plans that feel impossible to follow, workouts so intense they leave you exhausted before the week even ends. And for a while, that pressure can feel motivating. It feels like the only way to change your body is to completely change your life overnight. But here's the surprising truth. The people who actually transform their bodies are often the ones who stop making fitness complicated. They stop chasing impossible routines, they stop punishing themselves, and they discover something much simpler. Movement done consistently can completely change the way a body looks, feels, and performs. That's what this workout is really about. Not perfection, not suffering, not trying to become someone else. It's about building momentum with a routine that almost anyone can start, almost anywhere, without feeling intimidated or overwhelmed. And what makes this approach so powerful is that it doesn't just affect the body, it changes energy levels, confidence, mood, motivation. It changes the way mornings feel, it changes how clothes fit, it changes how you walk into a room. Because sometimes the biggest transformation begins with something incredibly simple. Picture this. You wake up feeling sluggish. Your energy feels low before the day even starts. Maybe you've promised yourself countless times that this would be the week you finally get back in shape. Maybe you've started and stopped more routines than you can remember. That cycle can feel frustrating. You begin motivated. Then life gets busy. Work piles up. Stress appears. Motivation fades. And eventually the routine disappears. That experience is more common than people admit. But the problem usually isn't laziness. The problem is that many workouts are built in a way that feels impossible to sustain. When fitness becomes overwhelming, consistency disappears. And without consistency, results never have time to appear. That's why this workout focuses on simplicity and repeatability. The goal is to create movement that feels approachable enough to return to again and again. Because when a routine feels manageable, something powerful happens. You stop relying on motivation, and you begin building habits. The workout itself is straightforward. It starts with walking. That may sound almost too simple, but walking remains one of the most underrated tools for fat loss and overall health. It's low impact, accessible, and surprisingly effective when done consistently. Walking increases daily movement without putting excessive strain on the body. It can help improve endurance, support calorie burn, and create the kind of sustainable routine that people can actually maintain long term. But there's another reason walking matters. It changes the mental relationship people have with exercise. Instead of dreading workouts, movement begins to feel natural, refreshing, even calming. Some people listen to music while walking. Others use that time to think. Some walk outside and reconnect with fresh air after spending long hours indoors. And slowly, what once felt like a chore starts becoming part of daily life. That's the first layer of the workout. The next layer introduces body weight movement. Again, simple, no complicated equipment, no intimidating machines, just basic exercises that activate major muscle groups and increase heart rate naturally. Movements like squats, modified push movements, controlled lunges, and core-focused exercises can create an incredibly effective full-body routine. And here's something many people overlook. Building muscle matters during weight loss. A stronger body often burns energy more efficiently. Muscle also helps create shape and definition, which means progress becomes visible in ways that go beyond the scale. That's important because relying only on the scale can become discouraging. Sometimes progress happens internally before it becomes obvious externally. Energy improves first, sleep improves, posture changes, mood shifts, stamina increases. Then eventually the mirror begins reflecting those changes too. That's why patience becomes such an important part of transformation. Most dramatic fitness stories online focus only on the final result, but the real story lives in the quiet moments nobody sees. The early mornings when someone chooses movement instead of staying in bed. The evenings when they stay consistent even after a difficult day. The moments when progress feels slow, yet they keep going anyway. That consistency is what changes everything. And there's another reason this workout works so well. It removes excuses. People often believe they need perfect conditions before starting. A perfect gym, perfect schedule, perfect equipment, perfect motivation. But waiting for perfect conditions can delay progress forever. Simple workouts remove that barrier. A small space is enough. A little time is enough. One decision to begin is enough. And once momentum builds, confidence starts growing naturally. That confidence creates a chain reaction. People begin making healthier choices outside workouts too. Water intake improves. Sleep becomes more important. Energy crashes happen less often. Even stress can become easier to manage, because movement affects far more than appearance. It influences the entire rhythm of daily life. Now here's where things become interesting. Many people think fast weight loss means pushing harder every single day, but constantly exhausting the body can actually make consistency more difficult. The smarter approach is often balance, enough challenge to stimulate progress, enough recovery to keep going. That balance is what allows people to stay committed long enough to see real change. And this is where countless transformations quietly succeed while extreme approaches fall apart. Because sustainable routines don't just produce temporary results, they create lifestyles. At some point during the journey, something unexpected begins happening. The workout stops feeling like punishment. Instead, it becomes proof that change is possible, proof that discipline can be built, proof that small actions repeated consistently can completely reshape the future. That realization can become emotional, not because of appearance alone, but because people begin remembering what confidence feels like. They begin feeling capable again. And that emotional shift matters more than most realize. Because confidence affects everything. The way people speak, the way they carry themselves, the way they approach opportunities, the way they see their own potential. And often, fitness becomes the spark that reignites belief in other areas of life too. Now, somewhere around the middle of the journey, many people experience a moment that catches them off guard. The mirror changes slowly, so slowly that daily progress can feel invisible. But then one day something happens. Maybe a shirt fits differently. Maybe climbing stairs suddenly feels easier. Maybe someone notices the change before they do. And for a brief moment, the effort becomes real. That moment can be incredibly powerful. Because it proves the routine is working. Not perfectly, not instantly, but steadily. And steady progress is often the kind that lasts. This is also where many people rediscover motivation they thought they had lost forever. Not the loud excitement that disappears after a few days. A quieter kind of motivation. The kind built from evidence. The kind built from seeing personal growth with their own eyes. That's the difference between chasing inspiration and building momentum. Momentum becomes self-sustaining. The process may feel slow in the beginning, but eventually there comes a moment when people look back and realize how far they've come. Not just physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually for some. Because discipline built through movement often spills into every corner of life. People become more resilient, more focused, more aware of their own capabilities. And suddenly the journey becomes about more than losing weight. It becomes about reclaiming control. That's why simple workouts can be life-changing. Not because they promise magic, but because they remove the barriers that stop people from beginning. And beginning is often the hardest part. Once movement becomes routine, everything else becomes easier to build. Healthier habits, better choices, more confidence, more energy, a stronger mindset. All of it starts stacking together, and over time, those small improvements create dramatic change. There's also something deeply human about the process. Every person who transforms physically carries a story nobody else fully sees. Moments of doubt, moments of frustration, moments of quiet determination. That invisible battle deserves respect, because change requires courage. Especially after disappointment, especially after failed attempts, especially when progress feels slow. Yet every single day, people choose to try again. And that choice matters more than perfection ever will. So if you've been waiting for a sign to begin, maybe this is it. Not a promise of instant transformation, not an unrealistic fantasy, just a reminder that meaningful progress often begins with simple action. A walk, a workout, a decision to stop waiting, And maybe the most powerful part of all is realizing that your future self is built by the choices made today. Every moment of movement is an investment. Every workout is a message that says change is possible, a message that says your health matters, a message that says you haven't given up on yourself. That final realization can hit harder than any workout ever could, because deep down, many people are not just searching for weight loss, they're searching for hope. Hope that they can feel confident again. Hope that they can feel comfortable in their own body. Hope that they can prove to themselves that lasting change is still possible. And sometimes hope begins with something incredibly small. One simple workout. One consistent habit. One moment of deciding that this time will be different. If this message connected with you, take a moment to support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing for more content focused on health, motivation, and sustainable fitness. And most importantly, share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Your story could inspire someone else to begin their own journey today.